Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Dina and it is the 30th of September. The month is over. Well, I have had a fabulous month and I thank you for all of your great comments and such supportive comments about all the finishes that I've been able to eke out this month. So I'll start by telling you a little bit about my plans for October, which starts in the morning. I've actually taken a calendar and I have penciled in time to put on all of my remaining active WIPs. I would have been focusing such effort on finishing in September that I have picked up a project and stitched it to completion, and whether that took 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, whatever, and then I picked up the next one and stitched it to completion. And so I loved it. I think it was great, but I believe now that I have really truly taken any piece that I had that would be able to finish in up to 4 to 5 days, and I've exhausted that list. So my WIPs that are remaining are too early in their life for me to do that too. But looking toward the end of the year, I want to start moving into Christmas stitching sometime around November. And so in October, I would like to really put some love into the remaining WIPs that I have that aren't close enough to a finish, or that I don't think that they are. And that way they'll be further down the road in January 2021. It won't take me as long to finish them. I'm starting to do planning for October, November, and December for the last quarter of this year. And I think I've got October pretty well done. I still have some work to do for November and December. Then I want to go ahead and pull out all of the stash that I showed you in my stash dive when I was pulling out my mania starts and everything else. That process worked so well for me. I'm going to do that again and try to pull out what I'd like to accomplish in 2021. So that may take me a day or two to finish that up, but I hope to be able to share it with you. So today what I have to share with you is my stitching that I started yesterday and finished this morning. And it was Pink Panda. She's the 22nd of the Advent Animals, and she is adorable. And I started her yesterday and finished her just a few minutes ago this morning. It's about lunchtime here. I need to take a break and have lunch actually. But there she is, Pink Panda. She's so precious. I just think she's adorable. I love those sad little eyes. Aren't they precious? All her little candles and her crown of candles for Advent. So I actually am delighted to have her done. The next one would be Alistair Alligator, I think. And so I'm hoping to do him next month, and possibly Deborah Donkey as well. And if I do, that leaves me only number 25, which is Rudolph, and that would be for November. So wouldn't that be fun to get that done? So I would actually get to finish them up early in November and could start fully finishing these into ornaments. So I think that'll be a great accomplishment. So now I'd like to share with you some happy mail, if you don't mind. I have a dear friend, Glow. We do virtual stitching together. We met online. She was commenting on my videos and we started talking back and forth, and before you know it, we were trying to figure out a way to meet at a stitching retreat. And as we were planning that, we began doing virtual stitching together. And now I have a new friend and I am delighted. And Glow was kind enough to make me a gift. And when she sent it to me, it had this beautiful star wrapped on the gift. And on the back it says, "With love." And I'm gonna hang this in my stitching room. And she also sent me some counting pins. So that was a great surprise. I love counting pins. And so Glow, thank you very much. Those will be used a lot. This is what Glow made me for my stitching room. This is Glow. This is Dina. She's got specialty stitches in here. It's just beautiful. And of course, she's got some of my favorite colors in here, and the blue, which is, you know, the predominant color in my sewing room. And one of my favorite colors, purple and pink, is just delightful. And it says friends. So this is from my new friend, Glow. Thank you, Glow. Thank you so much. The back is lovely. I love the fabric that she finished it with. And on the ribbon that I can hang it with, there's a little charm that says made with love. And I just think it's precious. Absolutely precious. As stitchers, you guys know what it means when someone makes you something and stitches it, takes their time to stitch it. It's very, very special. Thank you, Glow. Thank you so much. That was my happy mail. And I just wanted to share it with you. Our community is just one of the nicest places I know of, and I love it here. I love sharing my stitching with you all, and y'all are so kind when I share videos of Coco. One of the viewers that commented this last time told me that she was sorry to tell me, but Coco was her favorite part of the video. I thought that was great. I loved it. She's my favorite part too. So anyway, I'm going to go grab some lunch, and then I'm going to get started looking at my plans for 2021 and how I can best roll into that through November and December. And then I'll come back hopefully and share that with you. So I'm going to videotape the drawing, which is due today, for the pattern that I finished recently and offered up to pass the stash, which is the Sue Hillis design of Christmas spool tree. And so I will turn the camera around here in a minute and film that, and I'll put it at the end of this video so that you'll be able to see who the winners are as soon as I can put this one up. And I won't wait 2 to 3 weeks to put it up. I may actually put it up in about a week or so that you can, you know, maybe by the end of this week. I won't have a lot of stitching to share with you, but it'll be able to announce the winner. So I want to do that for you. It'll be a short one. I hope you have great stitching, and I hope to come back really soon and share some either stitching with you or some plans with you. And in the meantime, you guys enjoy what you're working on. Happy stitching. Here's my mantle pieces so far, my little pumpkins. And then of course there's my pumpkin cross stitch to go with the pumpkins. Here's my little witch, werewolf, and owl that are my Jim Shore pieces. Here's my autumn arbor pillow that I just finished. And I put the pretty floral backing on that, like I did my gift piece. And then there's my October. Here's my Halloween tree with my cross-stitched ornaments. Got my little bear wizard topper and all of my little nice ghost and witch and the scarecrow, little pumpkin, mouse there. Try not to make you too sick. Little girl in the pumpkin, another ghost. You can see I'm still putting out decor for Halloween, but I wanted to show you my little tree. And you can see in my curio cabinet there, I've got my shelf dedicated to Coco. And then I'll turn around and show you what's in my alcove. Here's my Jumpin' Jack Frost with some fall leaves to further the theme of the leaves in the picture, and my little gnome holding up his acorn. I thought that made a cute little grouping together so far. So that's what I've gotten out thus far. I will probably put my Stony Creek Bewitched in my sewing room this year, but I wanted to share with you a little bit of my fall decor. Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Dina. Today is October 3rd, and I'm going to do my last little segment before putting this video up. Here is what I've been working on. It's a Mill Hill kit, and it is the Stitch in Time. And I had started this in Mania, and then I didn't work on it for quite some time. And then I did a little tiny bit on the tomato. So when I picked it up today, or actually a couple of days ago now, I had to do some more of the tomato, and then I did the rest that I've worked on around it. So now I have done most of the background around the tomato. I've got the needle in, I've got my scissors done, I've done the lettering, and as you can see, part of the border at the top. But there is a lot of stitching going on in this thing, a lot. So, and then I've got to bead it. So I am happy with this progress. I have stitched just probably 1,050 stitches or something in it, but it's enough for me to feel like I've made good progress on it. And remember, that's what I'm trying to do in the month of October. So now that it's the 3rd day of October, I want to put this away, and I want to pick up my next WIP that I'm going to work on and make some more progress on it. So I'll go ahead and wrap this up. I've got some great footage of Coco at Fred's house. And in fact, all of the pictures you see at the end will be of Coco with her visit yesterday at Fred's house. And then you'll see kind of how she ended the day at Fred's house before she even came home. When she got home last night, she was so tired she didn't even eat. And she took a nap on the couch. And then the next thing you know, when I went into my bedroom to do something, she jumped up on the bed and she wouldn't get out. That was it. She was done for the night. So she went to bed early last night. And when I came to bed, she didn't budge. She was there for the duration. So anyway, I hope that you are having a great time stitching at the start of this month. And I wish you well. I hope you stay safe. And I am going to be uploading this quickly. And I'll talk to you soon. Happy stitching. Hi again, this is Dina. And this is my channel about cross stitch. And I have been requested by more than one person to share how I do my planning, or to share some of my plans for the rest of this year and for 2021 as soon as I have them. And so first of all, let me just say, I have a draft. This is all subject to change, but this is what I'm thinking as of today. And let's just, please give me the grace that if I want to change that you don't hold me to it. So I'll start with kind of the rest of this year. You know, what do I have on tap for that, and how do I plan for it? So in my ever-changing world, the first thing that I tried to do is take a calendar, and here's an example of October, and I pencil in what I think I would like to work on. And I've mentioned before, I do that by looking at what sales I want to be a part of, and I put those in first, and then I assign my days around that. So I do this first. And then in the last year or so, I have been participating in the 24 hours of cross stitch October, or acrostics. This is October's acrostic. And I take this group of projects that I've identified that I'm going to stitch on, and I take the acrostic and I try to fit those WIPs into the acrostic somehow. And if I can't, and I have something else that I hadn't planned on stitching, I can put it on here, because the minimum you have to do is 24 minutes. So, you know, I can always make that happen. So this is one of the things I do every month, and I enjoy it. I find it very creative. It's very easy to do, and it doesn't have a lot of strict rules, and so that is fun for me. Now that I'm a member of the Magazine Monthly Challenge, I'm doing the acrostic for October this month, and I did the same thing. I took the projects that I was going to work on, and I spelled out the acrostic for Ghost. And interestingly enough, there are two pieces two projects on here that I didn't have on the larger acrostic that fit here that didn't fit there. So that was fun because I got two more in. Now I have gone forward and I have started a November calendar and a December calendar. This is a little unusual. I don't usually do it that far in advance, but I wanted to see where I thought I could get in 2020 before I decided what to do for 2021. So when I get to this close to the end of the year, I start thinking ahead of what I want to do. Partly because if I have to order things, you need time to get things. So that's part of it. So I have November and I have December. Now, my October calendar, the thrust of it is I want to touch every WIP I can and just put some love in it because I spent September finishing everything I could. So in October now, I want to try to give some time to all those other WIPs that I didn't get to touch because they weren't close enough to a finish. Then in November, I want to continue doing that with two exceptions. I want 2 new starts in November. I want 1 new start that's full coverage, and it's going to be a small Christmas ornament full coverage, but it will give me another full coverage to be working on in the Full Coverage Fanatic group, and hopefully I could finish it by Christmas, but if not, that's okay. I just want to get it started so I have a chance to finish it. And the other start I'm going to do for November is because I wanted to get it started this year because it's the year that it occurred in, and that is pandemic. I wanted to start my pandemic. And so I'll just give you a reminder. I'm stitching the pandemic on 32 count platinum Lugana, and I'm using DNC number 93. It's a beautiful variegated blue. And just so you know, these two colors together are supposed to be a very calming, non-threatening color combination. And so I thought, what a great way to stitch pandemic in something that's supposed to be naturally calming to you. So that is going to be started on the 20th of November, and I picked the 20th simply because that's the year of starts, and so I've decided to start it on the 20th. And then December, I'm going to treat myself because Christmas is my favorite holiday, and I'm going to stitch only Christmas. I'm going to stitch all of my current Christmas WIPs, and I'm going to go ahead and continue on pandemic simply because I just got started. I don't want to lose my momentum. But I have slated myself to start 3 new Christmas patterns in December because they were the 3 that I had hoped to stitch in Christmas in July, and I ran out of room. I didn't have enough slots. So I had kitted them up and hoped that I could start them if I finished things quick enough or whatever. And they are The Holy Night by Shepherd's Bush, Ready, Set, Snow. I think that one is by Hands On Design. And Santa Berry Pudding, which is, I believe, another Shepherd's Bush. And so those are the 3 that I'm hoping to get to start in December, just so that I could get those 3 starts in this year, since I had hoped to do them in July and didn't get to. So that will take us through the year, through the end of this year. And that's kind of, you know, my stab at it for now, I guess is what you would say. So then I started thinking about 2021. What do I want 2021 to be? I'm hoping to only carry over about 5 WIPs into 2021, which is great. I don't know if I'll get some of those Christmases, those 3 starts all finished or not, or if I will wind up carrying them over. But even if I do, that's 7 or 8, and that's about what I like to have anyway. So I would like to give myself a quarter each to work on those 4 that I know I'm going to carry over, and I've assigned which quarter I'm going to work on each one to try to get them to a finish by the end of 2021. And so that means that I'll have a focus piece for that quarter. Then I was thinking, what all do I want to start next year? So I pulled out all of my stash, just like I did for my big stash dive this year, and I quickly ran through the items that I had either partially kitted or had hoped to stitch this year and didn't get to, what is it that I want to stitch in the next year? What's appealing to me now? And I just went through everything quickly and set aside the ones that I wanted to consider. Funny enough, there were 21 of them. And it's the year 2021. So I would like to start them all. And I have in the past participated in Mania in May, and that, you know, I don't see any reason why I can't do that again. So I am thinking that right now, I'm thinking that this will be my Mania lineup. If things go better in the year and I start having finishes sooner in the year, I will use this list to pull from for new starts, and then I will substitute something else. But for now, these are the 21 things that I hope to start next year at a minimum that you get to see. So I'm gonna share them with you. I decided that for a theme, I did Christmas ornaments one year, I did something for every holiday last year. So this year I've decided that I'm gonna do something to represent the 12 months of the year. And then I will, once I get all 12, then I will go and stitch the things that I have left that might not tie exactly into a month, but they're just part of that group that I wanted to stitch. So I just put them in order that I found them. But the first 12 have a meaning, and that is that they represent a month. So I started with January, and I decided to stitch the next arbor from the drawn thread, which is the winter arbor. I finished the autumn arbor, and so this is the one that would be next for winter arbor. And it is a beautiful, beautiful piece. It's on a 32 count twilight blue silk linen, which I did not have, but I do have a twilight blue linen. It's not a silk linen, but I believe it's the same color in my stash. And it is 32 count, which is the right count because my first one's 32 count. And that's the blue that I'm gonna be stitching this piece on. I think it's beautiful. I haven't ordered the threads yet. That's something I will need to do, but I at least have a fabric that was in my stash, and I'm going to make good use of it. I've had it a very long time, and so I'm thrilled now to have, you know, a piece designated for it. That piece represents January, winter arbor, you know, January. So the second new start I want is going to represent February, and the reason it represents February is because February reminds me of Valentine's Day, which reminds me of chocolate candy. And so this is more chocolate bunnies. So I know that's really an Easter piece, but chocolate to me is also February for Valentine's Day. So I'm hanging my hat on the chocolate, and that's the one I'm gonna stitch then. And I'm really excited because I just won this fabric in a giveaway on Sonia's channel, Cat Crazy Creations. And it's a 28 count light ash gray Lugana. And look at that. I think that's gonna be beautiful together. It's just a shade lighter than what was used. So I think it's gonna really look nice with those colors. And I'm just tickled to death. And Sonia, I'm so glad that I'm already putting it to use. I just got it and I'm gonna put it to use. So that's my second new start. My third new start is for the month of March. And the reason this is for the month of March is that this is about the dogwood tree. It's dogwood lace. And dogwoods bloom in March. So that's why I'm doing this one for March. And I'm actually doing it on a beautiful Lugana that is a cream Lugana, 32 count cream Lugana. And I'm doing it with the call for threads. And the call for threads are Weeks Dye Works, and they are, the color name is Baked Apple. So I'll show you what these look like together. They're pretty, kind of matches my outfit today. So that's what I'll be doing to represent the month of March. So the month of April is Easter. So I want to start something that is Easter related. So I have decided to stitch the Easter peep. And I'll remind you what it looks like. I think most of you have seen this one before. So I'm gonna do the Easter Peep. There we go. I've got windows in front of me, so I'm having to avoid the glare. And I'm gonna stitch it on a remnant of frozen fractals, 28 count frozen fractals. So it'll look a little bit like a sky. I wanted mine to be in the summer in the sky, and so that's what I'm gonna do. And if that teal doesn't look good with this fabric, I'll replace that blue, the bow, to another blue that looks pretty. And but I want to do this one on the frozen fractals. I want to use that remnant of fabric, which will be fun. Okay, I'm going to have to pause you for a second because my puppy Coco is whining at me to take her outside, and she's rung the bell, which means she's got to go. So I'll be right back. Thank you for letting me do that. Okay, so now I'm back, and I'm actually ready to tell you about May. So the new start to represent May is going to be a spring quilt. And I think this is beautiful. It's by Stony Creek. I do have all 4 seasons, so I'm real happy about that. And I have this beautiful 32 count cream Lugana that I'm going to stitch it on. And I think that matches very well. They have so many vibrant colors in this piece that I just didn't want to compete with the fabric. And I really like the combination there. So that's going to be my start for May. And then for my start for June, I also researched this too, because I researched when the dogwoods bloom so I could put it on the right month. But in June is when we have the first harvest of strawberries around here. So I am going to do Strawberry Fields Forever. It'll be my second sampler of the year, considering I'm doing the dogwood sampler. And I found this beautiful platinum Lugana 32 count that I'm going to use for the fabric. I think that looks very close to the called for fabric. And based on the colors in the roof and things like that, I didn't want to do a darker color. I wanted everything to show as well as it could. I'm sorry for that break. I got a phone call and it knocked me right off. So anyway, let's start again. We had just finished talking about June and the Strawberry Fields Forever. So now I'm on to July, which is Patriotic. And so I'm going to do Emma Rose's Emma Rose Freedom. This is a Tree of Life samplings pattern. And the called for fabric for that is actually Confederate gray. And so I'm doing mine on a Cashel Confederate gray. And my Confederate gray looks darker than their photograph, but this is the call for color. So I think it's gonna look really, really good together. And I even have some of the threads for that one because that was one I kitted up before and didn't get to start. So I'm almost ready for that. Then that puts us into August. And for me, August here is a big month for harvest. And so we will have field mice, you know, that we are, as we are harvesting products out of the field. So this one is actually stored with a second piece. So give me a moment to grab it. So my Field Mouse Hollow is the one that I'm working on for August, and this is what it looks like. Y'all have seen me do some of these mice before for Christmas, and I just dearly love them. And I'm gonna stitch this on a cream Cashel linen. This is a 28 count cream Cashel linen. I think that's very close to what they've used. Theirs is a little more beige, mine's a little more buttery, but I think the purple and the oranges and the black shoe are gonna pop on this buttery color. I can't wait to do that. I'm using that fabric again for another piece. That's why it's in the bag twice, or two projects are in this bag, so I'll put it for later. I'll want to see it again. And then, so that's August. So for September, for me, September starts getting a little bit cooler, and I start thinking of warm drinks. You know, I've got my warm coffee here, and so my sister Stephanie, her mom is gracious to me and has decided to adopt me as her third daughter since I'm Stephanie's adopted sister. And she is a lovely, lovely lady who loves tea. And so I found this in my stash. I had shared it with y'all before from a freebie table or from someone who sent me a package, and it was just part of the package. But it says, I'll put the kettle on, come sit and chat with me. We'll laugh and share a while and sip a cup of tea. So I would like to do this for Stephanie's mom for a birthday present next year. So I think I will start this in May, and I have decided that I'm going to do this on a Picture This Plus fabric called Quartz. I'm going for a whole different colorway here. And I'm going to stitch it in a Karen Water Lilies called Chili. I think that's going to be beautiful. Just beautiful. So there it is, and there's the color of the floss. And I think I should have enough with the 2 skeins to do that little piece. So that is going to be my September start, because of it being a cooler month and it be good for tea weather, you know. All right, so that brings us to October. I have an exciting thing I'm going to do in October. I got these at a retreat. A person brought a bunch of stash in to put on the freebie tables, and I grabbed these up, and I have shared these with you before. I'm calling it the Haunted Trio. That's really not what it is. They are 3 separate Mill Hill kits. There is the Haunted Library, the Haunted Mansion, and the Haunted Laboratory. And I'm thinking that I'm going to do them in this order: Mansion, Laboratory, and Library, like this. And the only thing I've looked at in the pictures that will be something I have to worry about are the fences. There's a bit of a fence here, and there's a tiny start of a fence here, which I could leave off easily enough. And I can decide if I want to leave this fence on or not. But I'm going to do these side by side by side, like just right next door to each other, as if they're in a row on the street. And the fabric that I'm going to use is a 28 count Stormy Gray Jobelin. I think that's beautiful. It will go this way, of course, and they will barely fit this way. They'll fit perfectly this way. There won't be any problem there. So I won't have very much of a margin. I'll have about 1 inch on each end. But if I decide to make it into a wall hanging or a pillow, I won't need more than 1 inch anyway. And if I decide to frame it and I need extra room, I'll just sew fabric onto it. But that is the color I wanted for this one. And I'm going to do that as a trio for Halloween. I think that'll be so much fun for my October start. So then you get into November and you get into Thanksgiving. So this is a Thankful Quaker. It's by Bent Creek. And I don't have the Weeks Dye Works parchment paper, fabric that is called for, but I do have a Silvery Moon Lugana from Picture This Plus that I think is going to be perfection for that. I think that's going to be really pretty together. So that is going to be my November representative for my starts in 2021. Not saying that I'll wait till any of these months to start them. I may start them all in 1 month. Okay, that brings us to December. In December, I'm going to start Hello Winter. And this is going to be done on a totally different fabric. This is going to be done on Ceridian, which is a fabrics hand-dyed by Stephanie. And this is a beautiful, oh, that's showing up perfectly. Has a touch of the rosy pink and a touch of the green in it. And I think that that is going to lend itself very well to this picture with the greens and the deep red burgundy look. I think the fabric is going to just make those colors stand out. So I'm excited about it. I had ordered a small piece just to see how I like the color. And it's 32 count Lugana, and it's just a fat eighth, but it's going to be enough. And so I'm real excited about that. And that's what I'm going to do. So that brings me to the end of my first 12 new starts for 2021, each one representing a month of the year. So then the next thing I'm going to work on is just a few of the remaining things that I had in my stash that I really wanted to get done next year. And the first one is for my stitching room, and it's called Stitching Bird. Isn't that cute? And I've actually pulled all of the threads for this because I had hoped to get it started before now, and I just haven't had the chance to do that. I've been focusing so much on finishing this year. So I'm going to do this piece on a 32 count Lugana that's another hand dyed by Stephanie, and it's called Seaside. And you can see it's sort of like the sea and the beach sand all mixed up together. But I thought my stitching bird, since it's a bird, deserved to be, you know, in the sky or at the beach. It looks kind of like the birds you see at the beach. And so I wanted to do that. And this was, again, a fat eighth that I ordered to check how I liked the color, to see if I wanted to have it again. And as it turns out, I think it's going to be beautiful on this pattern, and I can use it for that. So I'm happy about that. Then my next new start for 2021 is going to be Stir with the Big Girls, which is sort of a comical one I found. It's another bit of a Halloween stitch, and it is just really, really funny to me. It is a waxing moon design, and it actually says, if you can't stir with the big girls, then you need to stay away from the cauldron. I thought that was great. And I am doing this in a color in cotton called Maui. I ordered 2 pieces of color in cotton this year so I could try the fabric, and this was the second piece I ordered. And I thought that I want to see what that color looks like, and I think it would be great for either spring and summer or Halloween. And sure enough, it just, to me, looked like it would be perfect for this piece. So that's what I put it with. Okay, so that brings us up to number 15 for my new starts next year, and that number 15 is Cranberry Christmas, and this was a gift from my friend Marissa, and she went on my wish list at 123, and she ordered this for me, and she ordered the pattern, and she also got me the thread pack, the sulky thread pack, to go with this pattern. So I was able to put my fabric to good use. I had ordered this for Kringles, changed my mind, and had it in my stash. And this is just light taupe. And I think it's going to be beautiful with those colors. I think those will pop on there. So this is going to be the next start, number 15 in 2021. Now, I've shown you one mice picture. I told you I liked them. I wasn't kidding. I have another one to show you. And this one is called Mice in the Sewing Room. And remember, sewing room has been a focus for me this year, and I guess I'm not through with it yet. So this is the pattern, just to remind you, there it goes, what it looks like. 2 cute little mice. And I'm going to be stitching mine on 32 count lamb's wool even weave. And this is what that fabric looks like. And I think that will be perfection for that piece. I think it's going to look really good on there. I think the only thing I have to worry about is to make sure the white shows up. And I'll test that before I, do. So that's my Mice in the Sewing Room piece. So my next start is to continue with something that honors my new puppy, who's been with us a year now. And that is Lizzie Kate's Dog Lessons for People. And I looked at this piece. It's got some beautiful colors in it. And I was thinking, I want to do something unique with this fabric. So I had another piece of fabric in my stash. It's a Joblin, and it's a Welch fabric, but it's bittersweet light, and it's what I did the little boys on that are running away from the fence. You know, that's the magazine cover for Saturday Evening Post, and it's the Halloween one where they're running away. And so I thought, well, I think that color will look great with all of these colors that are used in here, especially this deep orangey red will pop on there. And so I'm gonna do that because I don't have that type of color anywhere in my dog pieces, but I do have unique fabrics in there, and I'd like to continue that trend. So that's the next start. And then if you'll recall, I did a sew together piece this year, and my plan was to stitch the 3 together in a series. This was the first one, just to remind you. And then I have 2 more. And I had thought that I was going to stitch them across the top this way, so they would fit together in a row. However, I started with one facing this way without realizing that I might not need to do that. So I'm not sure now what I want to do as far as if I want to do them separately or if I just want to bite the bullet and do them anyway. So I need to figure out placement on here, how I want to do that. This is a beautiful 28 count Springfield Sage Lugana, and I'm going to try to use it for the rest of these that I have in my series. And the ones that I have are the buttons and bows with the bunny rabbit. You've seen them before. The pins and needles. There we go. And then the ribbons and trims. And you'll notice the birds both face the same direction. So that's what's giving me the pause as to what do I do. Do I go ahead and, you know, put the bunny rabbit facing that way to that bird? And if so, do I put this, do I put this one in that group or do I do it separate? Because the theme on it is so different. These are animals, and these are not. So I'm not sure I want to put this one in with the row. That's what I had talked about, you know, once before. So it may have to be, you know, this one on the end, this one in the middle, this one on the other end. But this one's just going to be looking the wrong way. I wish I had thought about it and reversed it. But that's okay. I'll make it work somehow. But one of these is my next start for 2021 because I want to keep that series going. I don't want to lose momentum on that either. Then I also was gifted by my friend Marissa. She has spoiled me this year. I have been gifted this stitch box pattern by Jeanette Douglas. It is gorgeous. And she actually provided me the specialty threads and finishing pack and everything but fabric. So I looked in my stash and I found a limited edition Joblin 32 count that is a color and cotton hand-dyed fabric. And so it doesn't have a name because it's just a limited edition. But don't you think that would look fabulous together? I do. So that's what I'm planning on using to stitch this project. And I may only get one section done a year, but I'm going to work on it. I'm scared to death of it because it's a Jeanette Douglas, and so it's going to have lots of specialty stitches and that sort of thing, but I want to get started on it. She was so kind to gift that to me. I want to get started on it. So the next one I'm going to do is stitch over 2, and this is a hands-on design, and it is unique because it has a design on this part on one color of fabric and then a saying on a different color of fabric. It's stitched together right above the cross stitch line, And so, and it came with a little wool for finishing. That's in here. So, if you remember, I said when I showed you the field mice that I was going to use that cream cashel linen again, and I am. My plan is to use it for the bottom portion of the hands-on design, and to use this beautiful, sparkly fabric, Christmas in Williamsburg. It's an opal linen, 32 count. I want that to be the top of this piece, and I think that's gonna look really good together. I'm very excited. So that is my 20th new start for 2021. And then my very last new start that I have identified thus far for 2021 is another one for my puppy, and that is the hands-on design block party called Wolf. And I looked at this, and it calls for a Wilchilt beautiful beige fabric, and I have a beige fabric. It's not a Wilchilt, but it is a Jobelin, and it's just beige. So it looks darker than the one in the picture, but I think it's gonna go just fine with those colors. I'm gonna do a floss toss and find out. But I do have to show you, this is in my cute little puppy pouch, and I got this from Two Sticks and a UEWE. I think it's a knitting bag, but I just got it for a project bag because I loved it. I loved those puppy dogs, so had to get that. So those are my current plans for 2021 up through those 21 starts. There were others I want to do if I get enough done on these, but these were the ones I didn't want to spend the year without touching. Some have waited 2 or 3 years for me to get to, so that's real important that I do. And so I hope that you saw something in there you liked. If there's one of these that you have in your stash and you want to start them with me, if you want to email me and let me know that, and just say when are you going to start it, then when we get, we'll pick a day. I'll make the decision whether I'm going to start them all at one time the first 21 days of May, or whether I'm going to start them, once a month. I don't know. We will see. It depends on how many WIPs I have going, and how I decide I want to do the year, which is, still got a couple of months before I have to make that decision. Now, the last thing I want to share with you is that I joined WIP Go this year just to get in the group, just to test it out to see. This is my WIP Go board for 2021. This is my first stab at it. And what I did is I took my current WIPs off of my October schedule, and then I took my list of new starts for 2021, and I said, okay, I need to set some goals on these things. So I looked at where I thought I would be in January on my current WIPs, and figured that if I went ahead and put these new starts on here, even if I don't start them until May, once the number's called, you can work on it anytime after that. So I set goals for them all, and that's how I got mine done. And so I'm tickled to death that I already have it kind of penciled in. Now, if I change out anything, I'll come in here and change out my goals as well. But I'm feeling very accomplished. I feel like I have a good idea on what I want to do next year. And, I'm trying to finish these big projects that I've had hanging, for this year. And so I'm having to keep my new starts a little bit lower than I did this year, because I want to finish everything that I'm, working on. So if I hope that you saw something you liked, and if it's something you want to stitch with me, let me know. My email will be below. And in the meantime, I wish you happy stitching. Okay, we're here to do the drawing for this Sue Hillis pattern, Christmas Spool Tree pardon the glare, I'm in front of my windows here in the sewing room, but this is the pattern that everyone was letting me know if they were interested in stitching. And I've pulled up a random number generator on my tablet here, and there were 83 interested parties. So let's adjust and put 1 to 83, hit generate, and we get 41. Number 41, Joan Robertson. Joan Robertson, you are the lucky winner. Congratulations, Joan. I'm so glad to be able to announce the winner. I'll put a comment on your comment as I'm uploading this. But if you will, go ahead and look in the comments below in the description box area. I'll have my email address, and you could email me your mailing address so I can send you the pattern. Thanks so much for participating, and thanks for all of you for letting me know your interest in this Sue Hillis pattern. Happy stitching!